everyone, it's Parker from TestPrepChampions.com, and I'm back today. I got another answer request. This question's coming in from Nathaniel. He wanted me to answer this question. Nathaniel's question is, could I get a job if I am studying for the GED exams? Would they hire me if I wasn't in school but taking GED classes or in an adult high school? So I'm going to answer this question here and throw my 2 cents in. Basically, if you're searching for a job and you're in the process of studying for the GED, I want you to make a list of jobs that you're going to apply for and kind of sort them into 3 different categories. So the first category would be jobs that don't mention the GED or a high school diploma in their job description, right? So I'm not sure if where you're located, but what you can always do is go on Indeed.com. That's INDEED.com. That's a pretty good website to search for jobs. Now, it's not the only website, and of course, you don't have to use online. You can always use your classified ads in your local newspaper or word of mouth, however you want to do it. But I like to use Indeed.com. And so you'll just go on there and just put in your city and pick the distance wherever you want to work, 25 miles away, or if you need a job that's closer, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to do that right now just as an example. I'm in Philadelphia, so I'm using that as an example. But you can just pop in your location and a bunch of jobs are going to come up, pages and pages and pages of jobs, or at least for me because I'm in a highly populated city. And so right off the bat, the first job that pops up is order taker / preparation. Looks like that's a pizza shop. And in that job description, they don't say anything about any kind of requirement for education. So I'm not sure if that's necessarily a job you would want, but that's the point, is that I want you to check and look for jobs, look for their minimum requirement. So then the second type of job the second category would be jobs where they say that a GED or high school equivalency diploma is preferred. So in that case, what you would do is I want you to go pick out a specific date that you think you'll have all your GED sections done by. Okay, so if you're taking classes or if you're studying on your own, however you want to do it, this is going to help you with your studying too. It's going to help you stay on track. But I would pick a specific date that you think you'll have all the subjects done by, and you're kind of guessing at first, right? Because you can't always predict exactly when you'll have them done by. But I want you to pick a definite date. So maybe, I don't know, March 17th, March 18th, 2019, April 20th, and I'm just making these up off the top of my head, but just pick a very specific date, May 20th, 2019. You know, whether you'll think you'll have all the sections done in a week or a month or 6 months, I would pick that specific definite date, okay? Or if you're taking classes, know how long the classes are going to last, know when you're planning to take the actual test or take all the sections of the test. When do you think you'll have them done by? Because if you go to a job where it says that, if you go to an interview for a job where it says that a GED or high school diploma is preferred, they're probably going to ask you at the interview, did you go to high school? Did you graduate? Do you have a GED? And you can just say, no, I don't have a GED yet. But by this date, April 21st, I'm planning to have all the sections done. I'm doing a prep class and I'm planning to be done by that date. Okay, simple enough. And I would wager that 9 times out of 10, that'll probably be a good enough answer. It depends. It might not be. It just depends on the job. But that's what I would say. Just have that date, because that's a lot better to be prepared for a question like that on an interview rather than just not having any kind of plan for how you're going to address that, because you don't want to just be left there kind of tongue-tied thinking of what you're going to say. If you have that specific date, you've got that plan, and you can just rattle it off. I think that's going to be impressive. So then the third type of job would be jobs that they require a GED or high school diploma. And I think this might have been what you were kind of asking about, because many jobs will list right on the requirements that it is required. So, for example, let me just look here. I'm just going down Indeed to show you an example. Purchasing assistant at a school district, $31,000 a year. Okay, so they've got a description of the duties. And then as we go down, qualifications, Microsoft Office, blah, blah, blah. Education, high school equivalent high school or equivalent required. So that's an example of a job, purchasing assistant at a school district. I'm not saying, again, that you would necessarily want to do that, but I'm just using that as an example just to show you that some jobs, they will list high school or equivalent as a requirement. And so if you see a job that you want to apply for where that's a requirement, you can do one of 2 things. So one, you can apply anyway, and you can maybe say on your statement, your cover letter, or just put on your resume that you're in a GED prep class or you're self-studying for the GED exam, and by this date, you're planning to have all the sections done. You could do it that way. Or you could just not say anything and you could stick your application in without the GED or high school diploma. And you never know, maybe it'll be okay. It just depends on the job. It depends how hard of a requirement it is, meaning it depends how hardly they enforce it. Like some businesses, some corporations, like they don't have any flexibility with that. Like a major chain store, big business, they're probably not going to have that much flexibility. So if you call them or apply for a job there and you don't have the GED and that's a requirement, they're probably going to throw your application out. Okay, let's be honest. But if it's a smaller business or like a smaller family-owned business or a job that's not owned by a big corporation, they're probably going to be more lenient towards if it says that it's a requirement to have a high school education or a GED or to pass the GED to work there. They might be more flexible. It just depends. So you can call them, always call and ask them, which is a good idea, or email them. That's almost even better because then you'll have a written record of it. So if you forget what they told you, like over the phone, if they tell you something and you forget, if you're applying for tons of jobs, if you have it in writing, you can always just go back to the email and it's always going to be there. So you'll have that record of it. Okay. But what I would do is if there's a job where it says it's a requirement, you can just call them and just call them up, just say, hey, I'm really interested. I'd love to work here. This is an awesome place. But I noticed that it says that the GED is a requirement. Now, here's the thing. I don't have my GED yet. I'm working towards it. I'm taking a prep class right now. By this date, I should have it done. Is there a way I can still come in and do an interview, or would this stop me from being considered as a candidate for the job? However you want to say it. And they might tell you yes, that's going to disqualify you. We can't have you working here without your GED, in which case you say thanks anyway, and then you finish your GED studying and then you apply later, or you just say, okay, you know what, never mind, and move on to another place. It just depends how hard and fast they are at enforcing that deadline. But like I said, you can call them, email them, ask them, just to tell them a little bit about your situation, and you never know. They might not really care, because some places that's just kind of like a HR thing where they just want to say that's a requirement, but they don't really enforce it. Some places will enforce it, so you just have to ask them. But like I said, if you've got that plan in place, you've got that date that you're planning to have all the test sections done by, and if setbacks come up, and by that date that you picked, you still haven't gotten it done, that's okay. I mean, you don't have to be perfect, but I would guess at that date, and I would make a study plan. Hold yourself accountable for it and try to actually pass by that date. Don't just say it to say it, because it's going to be obvious, if you're just making it up. So don't do that. Okay, but pick an actual date that's going to help you with your studying. And it's also going to help you because if they ask you for that in the interview, or if they ask you for that when you call them on the phone, you'll have that. You'll be able to rattle off the top of your head, hey, I've got this plan for when I'm going to have the GED done. That's when I'm planning to have it done. Is that going to matter? Will that disqualify me? And like I said, it just depends on where the job is. And if not, then what you can always do is find one of those jobs where they don't have that requirement. So there are jobs out there. Actually, a lot of them do require at least a GED or a high school diploma. A lot of them do. You'd be surprised, actually. Maybe you wouldn't be surprised, but if you look on Indeed, there's a lot of jobs that do require that. But there also are a good handful of jobs that don't mention it, or jobs where they just say it's preferred. So if you look into those jobs, okay, get one of those jobs first. Work there, make some money so you'll have some income coming in, and you can keep doing your GED studying on the side. Then once you have that GED, what you can do is apply for the jobs that require it, okay? And that might put you in a better situation, because it's usually most people, when they have a job, they're more attractive to other employers. It's kind of counterintuitive how that works, right? But that is a lot of times how it works. When you have a job, when you already have a job, it's easier to find another job than it is when you don't have a job, okay? So when you don't have a job at all and you're trying to find one, it's hard, right? It's hard anyway, but when you already have that job, okay, it seems like you can get another job a lot faster for some reason. I'm not sure why that is, but it's just part of human nature. So you'll have that, you'll get one of those jobs that don't require the GED, and you'll do your studying in your spare time. And you'll build up, that'll add on to your resume. Plus, you'll also, if you do a good job there, give it 100%, work really hard, you'll have more references, or if you need a letter of recommendation, maybe your boss would be willing to do it for you if you do a good job. And then eventually, after you've been there for a little while, you can apply for one of those better jobs that require, one of the jobs that maybe you like better, that require the GED. So that's always an option too. But anyway, like I said, you don't know till you try. And just because it says the GED is required, if you want to stick your application in there, who cares? They might just rip your application up and throw it away. Or they might, if they see something else in your application that they like, or if they just want people to work there, they might not care so much. They might give you a shot anyway. It just depends on how strictly they enforce that requirement. So thanks again, Nathaniel, for your question. I hope that this helps you out. I hope that this answers it. If not, just let me know. I can expand on this. But thanks to everybody for watching this, and good luck to you, Nathaniel. I hope that your GED studying goes well, and I hope that you're able to find an awesome job that you really enjoy. So this is Parker from TestPrepChampions.com. Thanks again for watching this.